My neighbor blocked my driveway because he thought he owned the street. I called the tow truck, then called the city to report his illegal garage extension. To understand why I went nuclear, you have to understand Richard. Richard is the kind of neighbor who measures your grass with a ruler but leaves his trash cans out for 4 days. He moved in 2 years ago and immediately appointed himself the king of the cul-de-sac. But Richard had a secret. Last summer, he decided his house wasn't big enough for his ego. He built a massive 2-story extension on his garage to serve as his man cave. He did it on weekends, mostly at night, and I noticed something interesting. I never saw a single building permit posted in his window. I also noticed that the new wall sat about 6 inches over the property line, technically on my land. I kept my mouth shut. I believe in keeping the peace. I figured as long as he left me alone, I'd let him have his unpermitted throne room. Then came last Saturday. I had a flight to catch. I was heading to my sister's wedding and I was already cutting it close. I walked out to my car, threw my bags in the trunk and hit the garage door opener. As the door rolled up, I saw it. Richard's massive lifted pickup truck was parked horizontally across the bottom of my driveway. He wasn't just clipping the edge, he was fully blocking me in. I walked over to his yard. Richard was standing there, hosing down his boat. I said, "Hey Richard, I have a flight to catch in 2 hours. I need you to move the truck right now." He didn't even turn off the hose. He just looked over his shoulder and said, "Relax, buddy, I'm detailing the boat. I need the truck there to access the bed. I'll move it when I'm done, maybe an hour." I felt the blood boil in my ears. I said, "Richard, I can't wait an hour. I'm leaving now. Move the truck or I'm calling a tow." He finally turned off the hose, walked right up to the property line and laughed in my face. He said, "It's a public street. I pay taxes. I can park wherever I want. Go ahead and call someone. They won't come out here on a weekend." Then he turned his back on me. That was the moment the peace treaty ended. I walked back inside, but I didn't call the police. I called a private towing company known for being aggressive. I told them I have a blocked driveway, the owner is hostile, and it's a heavy-duty pickup. The dispatcher sounded excited. They said they'd be there in 15 minutes. While I waited, I looked out my kitchen window at Richard's illegal garage extension. The one sitting 6 inches on my land. The one built without a single electrical or structural inspection. I picked up the phone again. I dialed the city's code enforcement emergency line, the one for active hazards. I reported an unsafe, unpermitted structure that appears to be leaning dangerously close to a residential property. The tow truck arrived first. It was beautiful. The driver didn't even knock on Richard's door. He just backed up, hooked the truck, and lifted it. Richard came sprinting out of his house screaming, "Hey, put that down, that's my truck." The driver just handed him a slip through the window and said, "It's impounded. You can pick it up Monday. That'll be $400 plus storage fees." Richard tried to chase the truck down the street, but it was gone. I made my flight with time to spare. But the real show happened on Monday. I wasn't there, but my doorbell camera caught everything. A city inspector showed up with a clipboard. He walked around the garage. He measured the property line. He took photos. Then he slapped a bright red, condemned sticker on the door of Richard's man cave. When I got home Tuesday, Richard was sitting on his front porch looking defeated. The city didn't just fine him. Because he built it over the property line and without permits, they didn't give him a chance to bring it up to code. They ordered a full demolition. He tried to save 5 minutes by blocking my driveway. Now he's losing his truck fees, facing $10,000 in city fines, and he has to pay a demolition crew to tear down his favorite room. He thought he owned the street. Now he barely owns his garage.